So use little teenage lads there, you know, don't be used. Money's not life, mate. Money's not life, lad. Don't take major risk for a few £100. It's not worth it, mate, trust me. As I say though, opportunities, places to go, places to produce productive, constructive stuff in life for the kids, there's nothing there for them. You've got boxing gyms and fighting gyms and that's it. You're just raising aggressive, young, calculated, egotistic men. And I know a lot of people don't like me saying that, but that's just the way it is in the majority of the gyms. The gyms have turned into sort of social clubs. And within these social clubs, you've got young, decent men just punching out of each other for most of their lives. It's just weird. It's just weird the way mums and dads are putting kids in buildings where eventually they're getting their face punched in. Do you not look at it like that? Or am I looking at it different? So look, you know when you're watching these big boxing events and you see these fighters getting weighed in and then a week later they're in there fighting and then you see it all the time, these big boxing events, and they've done that boxing all their life and they've been in sparring rings and they've been getting battered all their lives, haven't they? I sit there sometimes and think, what did they do in their past life to deserve that now? That's what I think. Why are all these kids getting into a sport? Not even a sport, is it? It's a combat. Well, it's a combat. They call it combat sport to make it easy on the ears. Sport. It's always laughing then. Not. Why are you teaching your kids to resolve issues with the fists? That's what you're doing, and then wondering why your kid's getting nicked because he's punched out of that kid. Like the best way is always your words of mouth, and you should be, every 13, 14-year-old kid, they should be learned how to resolve an issue by speaking and not getting offended and not getting upset because they've been disrespected by the word. They need to be able to deal with that before they can raise their hands. And a lot of kids are getting raised not able to deal with that and they're just using their hands. And the ones that can't use their hands or don't go to the gyms or don't go with this, they're just scared of them that do. So they carry weapons. That's another dynamic in the knife problem. Most of the time, the kid loads of the times, the kid carrying the knife is the one that wants to speak. The kid carrying the knife's the one that's saying, nah. Do you understand what I mean? Not all the time, but sometimes that's the case. And it's always been the case on our estates for years. You know, your local boxers sort of had this reputation of the bullies and, oh, there they are, oh. And us young kids that couldn't go into these boxing gyms, although we could scrap, you still had that little bit of fear about these boxers because they knew how to land the foot. You knew. Some of you will understand where I'm coming from. And that put a lot of lads. I was always fighting with like the local boxers. Honest, for some reason, I was fighting with like the local boxers as a kid. Like Joey Ainscough. I never had a fight with Neil Perko, but when I was fighting with Joey Ainscough, it was like them little gangs, a family of boxers always was together. So up our end, you'd had the Burkes. You'd had the Burkes and some other little families, all the boxers, and on our estate, they were like, ooh, the Burkes. Do you understand what I mean? I had a statement with Stephen Burke. I had a fight with Joey Burke. All boxers. For nothing, no. Just because I feel I wouldn't take the... they might have a different version of events, but that's what it is. So on your stage you've got all these kids who aren't going into your MMAs, who aren't getting taught how to just punch on sight instead of trying to speak. And then you've got the shook kids that carry a weapon. Think if he comes at me, I'll just pull my weapon out. That's just, there's loads of like different elements to knife crime, whether you've got the aggressive kid with intent, whether you've got the mild kid with, what you call it, you can't really call it intent, but they do. So for example, if I'm sat here fuming and I grab that knife and go out that door looking for someone, to me that's intent, isn't it? To you, is that intent to you? To me that's intent, right? He's fuming, he's angry, he's emotional, he's deliberately picked that weapon up, deliberately went to that place looking for that person, deliberately. Intention. And then you've got that scared kid. He's got the scared kid, he's in a mad area, a few people have been stabbed to death, young girls, whatever, he's all shook up a little bit, and he thinks, I don't want to go out that door without a weapon on me. And he goes out the door with the weapon on him. His sole intention is protection. The authorities spin it and say, if you're intending to protect yourself with that knife, you're saying you're intending to use the knife on someone and charge him. So now you've got this shook little kid, plight his, doesn't turn to his knives, but he needs doesn't turn to his fist because he can't fight, he's not in MMA, he's not in this. You've even got kids that go to MMA but they're polite, pleasant kids and they've been trained in a different area or whatever. And they don't go to fisticuffs, but they're still shook in society. They can probably handle themselves with a fist, but if you've got two kids with a knife, you can't, it's over. So the laws need addressing, where they need to really assess the intent when it comes to possession of a knife. Because, you know, if there's madness on the street, right, and the police turn up, and they arrest 3 kids, and the 3 kids have got blades on them. One kid pulled his blade out and attempted to use it on someone. And these 2 kids never. They'll all get arrested and charged and treated the same. Because it's possession of a blade of dart with intent. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas these kids would have never pulled a knife out. But if their life was in danger, they will have. So choose a life, not a knife, like. Just stay away from them, don't carry them. What can you do to influence the kids to not carry knives? It's all down to influencers. It's all down to music artists. They're the ones that are captivating the mind of the children off your estates at the moment. We can scream and shout, put your knives down, choose a life, not a knife, gloves on, all this sort of stuff. But we haven't captured that audience. The people, the young drillers, you know, that type of influencer is what's got your kids' attention. And they're dressed in black on surrounds, screaming about making drug money and killing people and doing jail. And this is what your kids are absorbing their life to. And I'll repeat it because we always have done. The majority of the young kids that are killing people these days, they're not releasing the details of what's on the phone, what's in their headphones. It's guaranteed these kids are listening to drill, the most extreme version you can listen to. Because when you're listening to drill for a bit, you might get the mild version that they're putting commercialised. I don't know why. It's on the radios and all over your TV. It's just there. The commercialised drill is there, and it sort of drags them in to them artists that have got extreme drill on YouTube. So for example, you'll have a drill artist on YouTube screaming blue murder about all these violent crimes that he's been involved in or hasn't, or money and drugs and battering birds and jail. All this mad lyrics. But 4 years down the line, someone spotted him and we can make money on him, but we need to commercialise him a little bit so we can get him on the airwaves and get him in the charts. So now your kids are listening to him in your kitchen, you're singing along to him, because there's no violence in his lyrics. His lyrics are alright when it's on the radio and you think it's a bit pushy, but it's not enough to make you concerned for your kids. You're all engaging with it. Yeah, he's number 10, yeah, he's number 1, da, 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 da. Your kid's buzzing with him, your kid's rapping like him and that, and you think you're loving him. As your kid's growing up, he's going back, he's going into his phone, he's putting in someone like, I don't know anyone, Digger D, puts in Digger D. The tracks that was on the radio, he's listening to them all sweet. Now he's gone into Digger D behind the scenes. And Digger D's talking about killing people, stabbing people, robbing people, making money off drugs, harming. So now your kid's in his own little genre of music, and you think he's listening to commercials that you've got on your radios and on your tellies, when in reality he's delving deep into a genre of music that is destroying his mindset. He's not just listening to UK artists now, he's listening to American artists that are waving guns round, legit. Do you understand? The content's deeper, the beat's deeper, it's more intense. And this is what you're dealing with the kids. And that's how the music industry sort of don't take account for their actions. It's the music industry in this country that's accountable for thousands of young lads being stabbed to death and shot dead. Fact. Yeah, we were naughty when we were kids, but as soon as we started hearing Tupac, Brother Lynch, Master P, 50 Cent and all this, G-Unit, D12, we took it up a notch. Definitely. And that's where the real gang culture kicked in. Definitely. That's when we started forming into groups as teenagers, when hip-hop came to us. Back then you had like family names. Like we never had a gang title, we were just called the G's, because we were the old page. Now you've got the Crocky Boys, you've got the L8 Massive Kids, the Wavo 420, the L20 Fair Hill Farm, or what all this man. We were just called the G's, and anyone that was underneath us represented the G's. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hip hop and all that kicked in, and then this gang, Postcode, weren't Postcodes at first? Without me understanding it, without me realising it, I brought the Postcode thing into Liverpool. It's a fact. How? Because I started screaming when someone tried to kill me. L5. No one was using L anything on anything or anywhere until I started screaming L5 alive. Trust me on that. That's a fact. Me screaming L5 alive for a year or something, all of a sudden you heard people screaming L20, L32, L8 rappers, L8 this, L9, all this started kicking in later. L5 was in existence before they even sniffed any sort of L shouts. And that's facts, lad. And that's how you've got all these kids now. But even then, it's not postcode wars, it's gang wars up here. In London, it's postcode wars. So you can have two kids in the same postcode, two gangs in the same postcode trying to kill each other. Is that a postcode war? It's not. That's just a local gang war. In London, you've got that postcode fighting with this postcode, and it doesn't matter how close you are. Up north, you've got 10 postcodes representing one gang in the same area. So you'll have one L, say, yeah, when we were out, my graft spanned L3, L4, L5 and L6. And then from L6 on you had another group, and you'd go to war with them, but it's all Anfield. It's all like the borders of Anfield or around Kirkdale, it's all the same area. You know the kids. Some of your mates live in their areas. Honest, that's what it's like in Liverpool. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse when they implement these 15-minute cities. They're already doing it in Liverpool right now. What they're doing is, instead of us having our L5 postcodes, now they're putting L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, L7, L8 into something like District 1. And District 1 will have its own police force, its own medical centre, its own shopping parade, its own schooling system. And then District 2 will be L10, L11, L12, L13, L14, L15, L16, bang. And then District 3 will be, and then District 4 will be the rest of it. And then you'll have 4 big districts in the city of Liverpool. And that's the way they're going to roll it out right across the country. They've already started in Liverpool. And that's why you're not getting... That comes in line with that. What comes in line is, have you seen the way the government has said we're not having all these local processes where you can elect politicians? Have you seen the way they just pull the rug on like something like 10 million voters haven't been able to vote? That's the reason. The reason why they've pulled that vote is because the whole world is going to be different. The whole country is going to have different councils leading them, different politicians leading them, because all them jurisdictions have come into one catchment area and one district. And all them politicians and all them over there have all come into one district now. So the whole process is going to change up and down the country from what we normally do and know in the voting process. So at the moment, in your postcode, you'll have your local MP. Going down the line, in your district, you'll have 2 MPs representing you. You won't have 15 or 20, you'll have 2 representing this district and everything in it. And the same with every other district. So you'll have your own police force in there. They'll have a central base. You know, within all these districts, District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4, you will have a main hub for them in the middle of it, like a big prison. You know, you'll have the Crow, where they all sit in the middle, and all the cameras connected to this one big station in the middle. All the cameras on District 1 is connected to this hub. All the cameras on District 2 connected to this hub. All the bio that they bring in now, the biometric type of stuff that comes in that you are aware of, face recognition cameras as you're walking up the street, it all comes to this central hub. All the intelligence, or everything will come to this one big hub about these 4 districts. Everything will be computerised, just like it is in prison now. So when you want to book an appointment, you'll book an appointment across this system. That system will be connected to this hub. This hub will be known you've just booked an appointment for this day. When you get this appointment to this system that we've got, and you don't turn up to this system, boom, that system will know you haven't turned up to this system, and they'll probably put a delay on your next appointment because you've took the piss. And this is the way you're going. You might understand it now. It seems dead far-fetched, doesn't it? But just try and look down and see what's coming on the back of these districts that they're putting in Liverpool. Go and do a little research. They've already started jigging the postcodes and calling them different areas. That's the next step. The way we've got Anfield, Kirkdale, Walton, dun. Once they've established these districts, them names and them postcodes will be non-existent. So think about it. If they've got these districts, now think about this in an image. These districts that they're doing without bricks and without walls, right? They're doing invisible perimeters, right? So invisible perimeters, and put brick walls around each district with an entrance. So District 1's got a big wall round it, District 2 has, and you've got an entrance here. And you've got everything you need comes through this entrance for that district. Everything. So instead of having a postman running around your streets, the post will get delivered to this hub, get sorted in a file, and then you'll probably just turn up to the front and take your own mail. Honest to God, you need to, as I say, you'd always hear me comparing it to prison. It's just the way it is, people, unfortunately.